Hey guys, ZeroMagnumX here. This is my Diva Synchro Rush deck. It uses things like Deep Sea Diva and other things. I'm just gonna get right into it. I do want to make some notes before going over the deck. I'm not a fan of Pot of Duality, being that I play a game called Magic the Gathering. There's like a million cards, well, not literally, but you get the idea that mimic Pot of Duality and are a ton better and 25 cents. So I've got some beef with them making such a card and it being so expensive in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's just my opinion of it. Secondly, Solemn Warning iffy on. So I don't know if I plan on getting any of those or not. Personally. Solemn Judgment I may opt to put in this deck. It's not in here currently by test runs. I need a little bit of feedback on what you guys say. I don't need you guys to be like, hey, you know, Pot of Duality be awesome or not. This deck is meant to special summon nearly every turn, and Pot of Duality would just slow it down for its speed. In my Keen's Heartbeat deck, I just don't have the room for something like Duality or Draw Power, and if you know you're making a stun deck really should have the ability to slow down your opponent's decks so that, you know, their draw power and everything else doesn't matter. And that draw power also kind of eliminates good cards that you can pick from that would surprise or shock your opponent. Like Duality stops your special summons. Yeah, you get a search hand to draw, so it's nice, but equally so, what if you need like a Smashing Ground or something else? You know, or Dark Hole or Reborn at that point. Duality gets you there, but you're lacking room for other spell and trap cards. So it's just my thought process. You don't have to agree, just don't, you know, be mean whenever I say that. Those are just personal preferences. Like I said, I can probably accept Warning. I'm not too much of a fan of Solemn Judgment, but I see its use, or people running a Solemn Judgment and 2 Solemn Warning. I think it's kind of redundant. I think 2 Warning or Warning and a Judgment would be sufficient, because life points are life points and they cost a lot. Oh, that's my mini rant before going over the deck profile. It's just if you guys are looking to get like dualities or warnings for me, if I pull them in a booster pack, I'll trade them easier for stuff I want, and stuff not on my list, but I'm also not after them. So if you guys want something in my trade binder, please don't really offer warnings or dualities. I'm not that interested in them. Just letting you guys know. Anyways, this is the deck. Like I said, it's a Synchro Rush Diva deck. It's not really Diva Zombie, but it's Divas. So I'll just start with it. Stratos, 2 Dasher, 2 Malicious, 2 Spy, and I may take out the Gravekeeper engine in the deck. 1 Descendant, just because it's filler. That's a big thing about this deck. It really needs the Graphers. I don't have them. They're my biggest want right now, so I will trade pretty well for them. Like, I'm considering my entire page of Herald stuff, which is some ultimate rare, the like Herald of Purple Light, I think, which goes for 20 bucks itself online last I checked, and you know, Herald of Perfection, which I want of, and then my Manjus and stuff like that, which I have set aside for an Armageddon deck, but I'm willing to part with them if I can get the Graphers. So I'm really after those. Dark Crusader, I may decide to keep it in here because it can feed for Dark Arm Dragon from the hand, dump a Mally, dump a Plague Spreader, goes to 2400. You can just set up from there, or get out Dark Arm Dragon in a single turn by ditching 3 Darks. Never know what plays you can make. Armageddon Knights, I'll probably keep 1 or 2 in the deck. A Plague Spreader, like I said, 3 Deep Sea Diva, you know, Diva Rush, kinda need 3 Divas. 2 Krebons, one of the better tuners in the game. Battle Fader, not sure on it. so far. It helps with synchro modulation for level 1 if I set up next turn, like for Mistworm play. But aside from that, I don't know. I think 1 is good for the deck. I might run 2. Kai's is probably going to be replaced. It's just an extra Kai's I had for another Monarch deck I want to make, but he's in here for filler now because he'd be good. He did help me out in some situations when I test played the deck as is, so for now he's staying. And then Dark Arm Dragon. Okay, spell list, which is why that little rant was at the beginning, so you understand my spell list setup, spell and trap list setup. First off, keep in mind I don't have like a million staples. Alright, my staples are very limited and they're in my primary deck. This is a secondary deck and this is some extra stuff. So this is all secondary kind of equipment. Minus the monsters. The monsters I generally only have one of, aside from some of the commons and such. Okay, Cold Wave, Giant Trunate, sorry for the glare. 2 Space Typhoon, Destiny Draw, wish it was back at 2, Allure of Darkness, it can be at 1, I don't care. And then Reinforcements of the Army, that's kind of the draw search section. This is Destruction. I kind of organize my decks a little bit. For those looking to build decks, it helps, like, just to go over like the spell and trap stoppers, you know, and then I have the draw power and search power. You know, that's in 3 cards. The spell and trap stoppers are in 4 cards. Destruction's in 3 cards, which is Dark Hole, a Fissure, and a Smashing Ground. I only have so many Smashing Grounds, so that's why they're different. And then special summons, E-Teleport, and Monster Reborn. Trap cards are kind of divided the same. It's just how I build decks. It's worked for me for years that each have a function that they do. So in that way, whenever you open with a spell and trap stopper, a destruction stopper, and a special summon card, you're in pretty good shape. You have each aspect of the game there. It's kind of how I build my decks. And depending on the deck, like if it's a stun deck, I'll build it more for stun. Like it won't have draw power, but it'll have like a Book of Moon for that, or a Smashing Ground for this situation. You know, Dark Hole, of course Reborn's in there, because Reborn's and Dark Hole are in every deck. Because what's better whenever you clear the field and Reborn the best card in the graveyard? It's one of the oldest combos in the game. And most of us, if not all of us, know it. It's common sense. 2 Trap Hole. Trap Hole's an amazing card. It stops a lot of synchro plays on your opponent. Because if you stop that tuner, you stop the tuner material or the synchro material, no synchro monster. And they're left with a dead card that you probably can just run over with one of your basic monsters. Compulsory Evac Device. Let them synchro summon and take away their synchro monster. So they just wasted resources, and I don't know, I guess it's like a +1 to a +2 or something like that. With Compulse, you're not killing it, but you're getting rid of it. So, Trap Stun, I'm so about this card. It's kind of like another Cold Wave minus quick plays. So I'm not too sure about it, but being that it's a synchro deck, I don't want to risk running into compulsory devices and warnings and stuff when I set up my big synchro plays. So Trap Stun's wise for this deck, although I'm not a fan of it overall. Call of the Haunted, special summons, again, Synchro Rush, so you want to put out as many synchros as turns, so you need a lot of special summoning, and then, you know, Mirror Force, because it's standard. And mine's bent up and beat up, but it's an original Metal Raiders, which is cool. My extra deck is the exact same thing as it is for the King's Heartbeat, aside from 1 card, which is Red Nova Dragon, because I recently got one. I didn't buy the tin, but a friend bought 2 tins and traded me one. So, you know, Chimera Tech Fortress, Red Nova Dragon, 2 Red Dragon Archfiend, or Red Demons, whichever you like. And that's why one of them was taken out for Nova Dragon. A Mistworm, Dark End Dragon. Don't leave home without this guy, especially in a deck like this that can bring him out really easy. Thought Roller Archfiend, an underestimated card, really good. Especially when you need the life points. And your opponent is using one of these and you bust out Thought Roller and eat their Bryonic, you get like 2300 back. Or their Stardust. Black Rose, Field Nuke. I only run one. Black Feather Dragon for those odd burn decks. Never know when you run into them. Ancient Fairy Dragon. I like having all 5 dragons in my extra deck. I'm just that way. This gets rid of any weird field spell decks. Sorry about that. Catastor decided to say hi. 2 Stardust Dragon. Goyo Guardian. And Catastor. So it's a pretty typical extra deck. Let me know what you think. I like the deck personally for Synchro Rush, and like I said, it's got good potential to bring that Red Nova Dragon. It's not yet set up for Shooting Star Dragon, nor do I think it will be, because it's just too difficult to fit all those strategies into one deck. I'm better off with Synchro Rush and relying on a bigger dragon to get a boost. Alright, well that's really all. Let me know your thoughts on the deck. And any advice aside from, what I mentioned previously would be wonderful. The spell and trap list aren't adequate to tier 1 standards. I understand that. It's just how they are right now. And that's all really. So, good night YouTube. ZeroMagnumX out. Peace.